My ex-wife and my daughter spent 4 years calling me a loser for being broke after the divorce. Now that I've built real wealth, they suddenly want to be family again. They never expected my answer. Hello, Reddit I plus here. The first time my daughter called me pathetic, she was standing in a kitchen I used to pay for. I remember the exact sound of it. Not loud, not screamed, just casual. Like she was commenting on the weather. And the worst part? Her mother didn't correct her. For 4 years after the divorce, I was the punchline. The broke dad, the cautionary tale, the man who never leveled up. Now they want Sunday dinners. Let me explain. I was 39 when my marriage ended. My ex, Sabrina, filed. Our daughter, Lila, was 12. The court gave Sabrina the house for stability. I got alternating weekends, a child support order that swallowed half my paycheck, and a one-bedroom rental above a tire shop that smelled faintly of rubber and oil. I worked as a municipal waterline technician, hard labor, early mornings, mud, steel, frostbite in winter, honest money, just not flashy money. After sport, rent, and groceries, there wasn't room for much else. My couch came from a thrift store. My truck had a door that only opened from the outside. I wasn't failing, I was rebuilding. Sabrina remarried within a year. Her new husband, Grant, owned a chain of fitness centers. Nice suits, white teeth, big house in a gated neighborhood. Lila got a remodeled bedroom, a walk-in closet, and a car at 16 that cost more than my annual rent. That's when the narrative shifted. Your dad tries, but he doesn't have the same drive. Your dad's comfortable being average. Your dad just doesn't think big. At first, Lila repeated it like trivia. Then she started believing it. When she was 14, she came to stay with me for 2 weeks in the summer. I planned everything. Kayaking, a baseball game, homemade pizza nights. She walked into my apartment, looked around slowly and said, "Doesn't this ever make you feel stuck?" I laughed it off. She didn't. By 16, she avoided coming over. Said my place was depressing. Said she didn't want friends to know where I lived. Once, when I dropped her back at Sabrina's house, I heard her tell someone on the phone, "Yeah, it's rough. My dad's kind of broke." Kind of. The Christmas that broke me was her senior year. I saved for months to buy her a vintage camera she'd mentioned wanting. Not the newest model, but thoughtful. Something I knew she'd use. At Sabrina's house that morning, Grant handed her keys to a brand new SUV. Sabrina gave her a designer handbag. She opened my gift last. "Oh," she said, then quieter, but not quiet enough. "This is awkward." Sabrina pressed her lips together. Didn't say a word. I drove home and sat in my truck for 40 minutes before going upstairs. After that, I stopped fighting for attention. I still texted, still showed up, but I stopped begging to matter. The turning point came when I was 43. A contractor I'd worked with for years, Malik, was starting his own underground infrastructure company. He needed someone who understood municipal systems inside and out. He offered me equity instead of a salary bump. It was a risk. I invested every dollar I'd scraped together. Within a year, we landed a state contract replacing aging pipeline systems, the kind of project that changes your tax bracket. For the first time in my life, money wasn't a stressor. I bought a modest house with a yard, nothing flashy, just space, light, a porch. I replaced my truck, paid off debt, slept better. I didn't announce it. Word got back anyway. 3 weeks later, Sabrina texted for the first time in nearly a year, asked how I'd been, said she'd heard things were improving, mentioned Grant's business was struggling, inflation, staffing issues, cash flow tight. Then she asked if I'd consider helping with Lila's college housing upgrade, even though Lila was 19. Even though my legal obligations had ended, I declined. A week later, Lila called. She was crying. Said she missed me. Said she'd been immature. Asked if she could come see my new place. I asked one question. "Did you know about the house before you called?" Silence. Then, I heard something. That 30 seconds of silence hurt more than everything else combined. Because for a moment, I believed she just missed me. Sabrina asked to meet soon after. We sat at a roadside cafe. She looked tired, different. She explained Grant's businesses had lost 2 locations. Mortgage payments were behind. Family should help family, she said. Family. Interesting word. Around that time, my old friend Darius dropped by. He'd known me when I was eating canned soup to stretch the week. He reminded me of the time I lent him grocery money, even though I was overdrafted. "You were solid when you had nothing," he said. "Don't let money make you feel obligated to people who only respect it." That stuck. Months passed. Then a letter arrived. Handwritten, 4 pages. Not vague apologies, specific one. She wrote about calling my apartment depressing, about mocking my gifts, about realizing she'd measured worth in square footage and price tags. She wrote about losing her sorority when her mom couldn't afford the dues anymore, and how quickly people stopped inviting her places. She said, "I think I finally understand what it feels like to be judged for not having enough." We met halfway between our homes. No designer bags, no attitude, just jeans and nervous hands. For 2 hours, she didn't defend herself. She didn't blame her mother. She didn't mention money. She said, "I was cruel because I thought success only looked one way." That was the first honest thing she'd said to me in years. We didn't fix everything that day, but we started. Slowly, monthly lunches, then random texts about classes. She got a part-time job at the campus bookstore. Not because she had to, because she said she needed to. Sabrina tried once to accuse me of turning Lila against her. I told her our relationship was between me and my daughter now. Boundaries are powerful. It's been a year. Lila still slips sometimes. Old habits die hard, but she catches herself. That matters. Here's what I learned. Being broke revealed who valued me. Getting wealthy revealed who valued money. The irony? The moment I stopped needing their validation was the moment I could rebuild something real. Next month, Lila and I are going fishing at the same lake we used to visit when she was little. She said she remembers those days differently now. So do I. This time, we're not measuring each other by what we own, just by whether we show up.